Given that we were one of the earliest, to get this concept out in the market, clearly there's a whole space about market creation, and I think that has been something that has been very exciting. But at the same time, I think you also realize that there is a certain existing behavior that needs to be understood to be able to make that change in the mindset. And I think one of the biggest blocks today for many people is, I don't want to know, because if I know, then the disease will come. And I said, if you don't know, it will also come. Especially if you lead a bad lifestyle, and sometimes you may not even know before the disease has actually progressed. And I think the true value is in knowing before, because then either you prevent it or you diagnose it early so that you can actually take the right steps. And I think that is the prime thing that we face. The other thing obviously has been, just us not being able to spread rapidly enough in terms of just being in front of a lot of different people. And the third clearly is the price point. And the price point today is still fairly high for an Indian consumer. But we heard a lot of suggestions from Indian consumers, and we moved from saying we had one genome patri which would do everything, towards making smaller and smaller panels that would now be much more accessible to an average consumer. And I think now it makes a lot more sense for a consumer to be able to say, if you're buying this product, they're getting that value that they need, given that they already know that, let's say, cardiovascular disease exists in the family, they've seen sudden cardiac deaths, or they've seen something like that, they would rather screen and know early enough. There is also, I think at least among some people, one of the challenges was that the perception that this might, that this is that is driving people to doing new surgeries and otherwise. And I think that was primarily because in the West, I think a lot of them were not, there was no counseling that was there with the product that was given out. And so as a result, I think when just a pure report is given to a consumer, I think the assumption when they look at a report which says high risk for something is that it is a predetermined report, predetermined risk. Even though all of the reports, we probably would have put in enough literature that would have said that this is a probabilistic method. So in many ways, I think it is about being able to counsel a patient about understanding genetic risk, but genetic risk in the context of a larger health for a consumer is what is most important. And I think that is provided by the genetic counseling, and then being able to actually have this come through a physician who will then tell them what next steps they need to do. So I think one of the things that we've started to see has been a lot of acceptance by physicians and hospitals who have actually started providing our products. And I think once it becomes mainstream and it becomes available to a lot more people by using the current healthcare system, then I think it becomes part of a lot of regular medical activity. And I think that's when we'll start to see the real scale. But I think overall we'll start to see people looking at data points, doing this themselves, being able to then look at an overall aggregator of information and being able to get more data, valuable data from them. So I think Health 2.2 as a conference has been fantastic. I think it's a much needed platform for entrepreneurs, because I think there's a lot happening in this space. There's a lot happening on the whole digital health space. There's a lot happening on many different pieces that will comprise on what will be a future of health. So I think it's a great awareness platform that we've started to see. Health for me is being able to understand who you are as a person and be able to take care and make sure that you do the best in terms of living a happier and a happier life.